Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This Vulcan Report is for trading on June the 2nd, Thursday, 2016. You're looking at a chart now of Apple stock. As you can see, the market has some trouble as it bounced off the first trend line resistance and is heading back down again at 98.46. As you can see, momentum is starting to point down, and we're still in a downward channel in this. We have overhead resistance at 106.72, and right now the market is trying to fight to get back above this short-term trend line here, the purple line, and right now it's having a hard time doing it. I don't see that happening, and we see more downside coming within the next few days here. Taking a look now at Amazon. Amazon, as you can see, it's trying to lock in even though it is overbought, and we just hit a new high of 726.43. Market is well supported at 625.95 and remains in a powerful uptrend, as you can see here, and I expect higher prices on this one within the next 3 to 5 days. Looking now at coffee in the commodities market, we see overhead resistance at 135.04, and the market currently trading at 122 on the close, and the upward trend line resistance here is at 127.69, as this market is still pretty much flat to nothing going on here, still in a well-defined downtrend overall, trying to bounce off of almost going into a support. So this market still has more downside to go. It's not oversold in any stretch of the imagination. It's just waffling around here in a range. But I see sideways to lower prices continuing in this market as well. Take a look now at crude oil. Crude oil at 48.95. This market, as you can see, momentum is coming off. So it's out of that overbought status, but it's still in the Kumo cloud, even though it's a narrow one, trying to break and close above 49 to get back into the 50 handle. And on this one, even though the overall picture is still in a downtrend, we still are in retracement mode, very much so, and this market is well supported at 39.62, and I expect higher prices within the next 3 to 5 days. Alright, looking at the Dow futures, as you can see, this market's well supported at 17,407, and the market is struggling to get back above 18,000. That's going to be the test in this market as momentum is starting to come off. The market remains well supported here. Like I said, you can see here we have a nice cross upward here, but we still could have room to pull back a little bit more before retesting the 18,000. So I'm going to say sideways to slightly higher prices within the next 3 to 5 days. Looking at the E-mini S&P 500 futures, this market's well supported at 2035.5, and just like in the Dow, this market's trying to get back above 21. If it can get above 21, then we're looking at much higher prices coming in this one. Market is overbought, and it is in the process of trying to lock in on the upside. So on this one, we do see some sideways to higher prices also within the next 3 to 5 days. And everything's going to be contingent on the financial sector as far as what happens this Friday with the Fed, and as they're going to be taking a look at unemployment and see how that jives out. Looking now at Facebook. Facebook momentum is down. Momentum is bearish on this one, even though this chart is bullish. As you can see, light volume coming off of a holiday. The market remains well supported at 107.90. This one's going to try to break that 121.08 high. I do see sideways to higher prices in this one within the next 3 to 5 days as well. Alright, looking at feeder cattle. Feeder cattle is in a well-defined downtrend. Resistance remains at 156, and we're just coming off of this new low of 138.57.5, and you can see it's still in a downward slope. On this one, I still see more downside to come. We are not oversold, and it still has more room to the downside to run. Looking at GLD, as you can see, is in a nice defined downtrend now, coming off this previous high here, and momentum is oversold, right? But not just ready to turn up yet. That's the thing about it. We have to watch this one to see. It could turn up from here, but it could be a weak turn, and instead of a sharp one like we had back here. All right, we had a sharp turn up. We're not seeing that so far in this one. This market remains resistance is strong at 123.61, and right now this market is about to test this trend line support here right below that 115. So this will be one to watch, and you can see the downward sloping the short-term trend line. That's not good. As that crosses below the purple line here, that then pushes the purple line down, and then that will cause that to cross below the orange line, and creating a new bear trend to the downside, or reestablishing the old trend here. So this one looks very bearish right now. All right, looking at the gold futures, same thing. This will be the fifth down week if we close down here. Market is oversold, trying to lock in. Same scenario happening here. 1200 is what we're trying to respect. If the market can stay above 1200, like I've been saying for weeks now, that 1200 should be the strong support, then the market can stand a chance to recover. What will happen is this will come, it can still cross below it, but instead of causing this one, instead of pushing down on this trend line, this purple one, it smooths out, flattens out, and then comes back out again. So that's the scenario you want to see if you are bullish on gold. You don't want to see it close below 1200. Looking at Google or Alphabet, 734.15 is where we finished out at, and this market is well supported at 675.26. And as you can see, we're in overbought status, but the market's trying to lock in and get a run started here to get back above 750. I do see sideways to higher prices within the next 3 to 5 days in this one. Looking on now to lean hogs in the futures, 81.12.5. Market is an upward thrust, but nothing's really playing out just yet. Once you get back above the high of this bar here and head toward 90, I do see that happening here in this market. We'll give this one three to 5 weeks to happen. So this one remains well supported, and I see upward price momentum coming on this one. All right, next one here is Netflix. We have upward overhead resistance at 107.92. Market's trying to make a run for it. The momentum is coming off though, so we may be able to scratch it, but it's looking weak, like it wants to go back down. Technically speaking, we are pulse waving negative, as you can see here, but we're not really following through. But we could start, if we start to break down here in this Kumo cloud of death, we could break down below the cloud, but I think the market wants to make a run and break out of it. It's going to be hard to do because we have all this action back here, here, and here, and we're still technically in a downtrend. All right, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. This one I see sideways prices. I don't really see a breakout just yet out of the Kumo cloud. The market will have to prove us wrong and choose a direction. Right now we don't have a direction. All right, looking at the NASDAQ futures, 45.22.5. This one is bullish, trying to get ready to lock in even though it's overbought. Wants to make a run at the 46 handle, and it's going to have a tough time doing it. So this one I see flat to sideways prices as well. But I think it's going to try to make a run higher. We'll see if it can get some momentum behind it. Right now we don't have any. And looking at the QQQ or cubes, 110.35 and well supported at 104.81. This market is flat. Look at the trend lines that are just stretched out here sideways. Overbought, trying to lock in something, trying to get something going, wants to head toward 115. I think it could be successful, again, if we can get some momentum behind it. Moving right ahead now to silver futures. Again, fifth week down. If it closes down like this will be the fifth week. It's getting dangerous. It's flirting dangerously right now with being below 16. We're at 1596 half. Cannot close there. We cannot have successive closes below 16. Market needs to be well supported at this 16 level. We are in the oversold scenario where the market could bounce from here, or it could try to lock in like it's looking like it wants to do, and it wants to get busy and break below this trend line. Not a good thing, because the further we get into the Kumo cloud, we wishy-washy back and forth in here, but until we break out or down below it, we're trendless. So right now we are trendless, but the bias to the downside on this one. This market's fighting for its life. Overhead resistance remains at 1798. SLV, overhead resistance 1701. Same scenario here, flattening out, but momentum is to the downside. Oversold, but could be trying to lock in something here. Not looking good. Want to stay above this $15 handle. Looking at soybeans. Soybeans is benefiting off of a weaker dollar. And you can see it's well supported at 1028 and a quarter. This market wants to run up and get up to $12. And we could see beans in the teens. If this kind of momentum keeps up, we could be there within the next couple of weeks. Locked in. We are totally locked in on the upside. New bull market forming in the beans. Beans are well supported, like I said, at 1028. Looking at the spiders, you see here 210.27. Market's well supported at 199.75, and it's trying to make a run up toward the 215 handle. Overbought, but in the process of trying to lock something in. And looking at sugar futures, 1734. Market's well supported at 1592, and it's an upward slope. Momentum's coming off though, but still remains bullish. And the dollar index stuck in the Kumo cloud of death, well supported though at 92.27. Directionalist. Momentum's coming off. It's really not doing anything right now. It's just flattening out in the Kumo cloud of death. We need a breakout above it or a breakdown below it before we could even see what this market wants to do. It doesn't have a direction just yet. It's dead in the water. 95.42. I'm thinking though, as long as it can stay above 95 though, this market still has a bullish upward bias to it, as the Fed will not allow this market to die. That's all I have time for now. So remember, bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. Remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And thank you for your continued support of the Vulcan Report, and also for our documentary that's ongoing called There Is No Collapse. And I think that these charts that I just finished showing you pretty much proves that. In addition to that, be on the lookout for our fifth installment, part 3, coming up. Amazon, as you can see, it's trying to lock in even though it is overbought, and we just hit a new high of 726.43. Market is well supported at 625.95 and remains in a powerful uptrend, as you can see here. And I expect higher prices on this one. The market is trying to fight to get back above this short-term trend line here, the purple line, and right now it's having a hard time doing it. I don't see that happening, and we see more downside coming within the next few days here. Taking a look now at bubble as it bounced off the first trend line resistance and is heading back down again at 98.46. As you can see, momentum is starting to point down, and we're still in a downward channel in this. We have overhead resistance at 106.72, and right now in the next 3 to 5 days. Looking now at coffee in the commodities market. We see overhead resistance at 135.04, and the market currently trading at 122 on the close, and the upward trend line resistance here is at 127.69, as this market is still pretty. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This Vulcan Report is for trading on June the 2nd, Thursday, 2016. You're looking at a chart now of Apple stock. As you can see, the market has some